A True Democracy / People Power Online Voting Guide 2. Chapter 1. True Democracy, People Vote Online Issue by Issue. Online Voting by the People 1. People power is a nuts and bolts ideas about how to change the structure of representative democracies to real democracies where the people rule themselves through an online voting system. It's not that hard to do, but we're so brainwashed by the idea that electing politicians is democracy that many of us are afraid to move into a government where we rules ourselves with limited management at the top. The People Power program is a way to change governments to true democracy through creating an online voting agency where the people rule themselves. Nothing much gets done in chambers because politicians can blame each other over and over again for their failings and get away with it. Get rid of committees to get the people to vote on big issues online. We don't waste time like they do now. We get a problem. We solve it right away one way or another. It never languishes in bureaucratic limbo. Name any issue or problem in running any government. Not one is seriously complicated. Reduce it down to a simple bill. Put it up online at a website like peopilapower.gov. peopilapower.canada.ca. The people vote. Majority wins. It's not perfect, but it beats representative democracy. Most issues do not have a solution that will make everyone happy. That's life. Make the decision and get on with it. That's ultimate true democracy. We need a system that gets great new ideas on the forefront of the nation's consciousness. True democracy, aka online voting, is simple, clean and quick. Things will get done and virtually all the theatrics will be gone. This is the future. If your leader refuses to immediately create an online voting system so the people can vote on anything quickly and simply, then it's time for a revolution now for true democracy or the People Power program. Online voting by the people too. Don't fight the government, be the government. Somebody writes a book criticizing the government. A generation later somebody writes the same kind of book. There is always a new doom and gloom book about the great collapse in the next few years. A few activists read them. The author makes some money. Nothing changes. They say how bad it is, but they never provide a simple solution. The People Power program is a simple form of government that any nation can easily set up and live by. Unite to get the referendum to vote for the PPP, vote yes on it, then we will control the government from now on and life will get better for all of us. The People Power program / PPP takes the power ourselves directly as all the people of a society. We, the people, create ideas and vote on them. In order for people power democracy to replace representative democracy in every nation of the world, millions of people have to come forward. The fight has not changed. It's about freedom from oppression, to rule ourselves, not to be ruled by representatives. Democracy is government by the people for the people. That means we rule. If we want to all get together and vote to change the structure of our democracy, that's always the highest, most divine force we have, everybody together. What would Jesus do? What's the right thing to do? Follow old, corrupt laws or move forward with a sense of fairness, righteousness, and love for your fellow man? Politicians have no right to stop us. Neither does any document that might have been used to create a nation, because nothing is sacred. There are no sacred cows anywhere. That's the law that free, enlightened people live by. You're as good and valid as anything the human race ever created. If we don't like something right here, right now, we change it. Life is right here, right now only. I respect the wise men and women from past times, but my life is right here, right now. I trust my own wisdom over anything anyone wrote in another era. Everything is valid for its time period. The people have the right to change their form of democracy anytime they see fit by voting all together as a group on it. The Declaration of Independence and the Constitution were great ideas. Benjamin Franklin, George Washington, and Thomas Jefferson were great men who stood up against a bunch of arrogant oppressors and risked their lives to rule themselves. It's time to change that form of government to a better one. True democracy is a form of government where people vote issue by issue online. True democracy is a form of government where the people create ideas and vote on them online as individuals, idea by idea. Right now, many countries have 4 government bodies: President or Prime Minister, Congress or Parliament, Senate, Supreme Court. We can start on the road to true democracy, people voting online issue by replacing the Senate with the online voting agency. The United States and Canada each have a Congress/Parliament and a Senate. We can start online democracy by replacing the Senate with the online voting agency. People will log into a website something like peopower.gov with the social security/social insurance numbers. Their password will be their zip code/postal code. The people will not vote on all the bills put forth by both the President/Prime Minister and Congress/Parliament. These 2 bodies create and pass many small bills that the people aren't really interested in. There will be a moderator or moderator team of no more than 5 people who will decide if a bill will affect the lives of the people to a significant level such that they should vote on it online. You might ask, how would the people in any country change a body of the government from representative democracy to online democracy? It's not that hard. I discuss it up ahead. There is overwhelming power in numbers. We had the Million Man March. Communism fell because of the protests in Poland. The Arabs had an Arab Spring. Ukraine had its Orange protest. Sri Lankans threw their government out. Milk mobilized the blacks. Gandhi mobilized the Indians. In this day and age, we can get 2 million people to show up in Washington, D.C. and Ottawa not to be so bold as to demand a change in the structure of the government. Just demand a referendum by the people at peopower.gov. peopower.canada.ca. The citizens will log in, type in their social security or social insurance number, then type in their zip code/postal code to establish this as their future password, then vote. Should we abolish the Senate and replace it with the online voting agency where people will vote on big important issues that the President/Prime Minister and Congress/Parliament come up with, plus the people will come up with their own bills and vote on them? Yes. No. If there is no fraud, over 90% of the people will vote to change the government to online voting. People who make money from government the way it is now will vote to keep it the same. We will win, then start voting away agencies that waste money and vote in things that help the people. We can use the movie A Bold Peace as a guide. Costa Rica eliminated their military and spent that money on healthcare and education. If the people had voted on the Bank Reform Bill of 2009, it never would have passed. Politicians of all stripes are afraid to say anything negative about the military because a lot of people make money from the military industry and a lot of people are veterans or patriots. Politicians are afraid of losing the votes of these people rather than doing the right thing, which would be to get rid of the military and use those resources on healthcare, education, housing, etc. There's an easy way to get rid of at least half of the military. Get the people to vote online on this bill. What should the military budget be? Increase it by 10%. Keep it the same. Reduce it by 25%. Reduce it by 50%. Reduce it by 75%. Reduce it by 90%. Reduce it by 95%. Get rid of the military, keep a national air rescue system of helicopters and search planes, keep the Coast Guard for rescue. We can start to get rid of the security agencies with this vote. What should we do with the National Security Agency budget? A. Increase it by 10%. B. Keep it the same. C. Reduce it by 25%. D. Reduce it by 50%. E. Reduce it by 75%. F. Reduce it by 90%. G. Reduce it by 95%. H. Get rid of the NSA. We already have the FBI, the CIA, Homeland Security, DIA, state and local police all over the country. What should we do with the Central Intelligence Agency budget? A. Increase it by 10%. B. Keep it the same. C. Reduce it by 25%. D. Reduce it by 50%. E. reduce it by 75%. F. Reduce it by 90%. G. Reduce it by 95%. H. Get rid of it. Sticking our nose into other people's business is evil. It creates bad intentions against us. We have a bountiful country. We can create everything we need here. I call this idea either the people power program or true democracy. Any intelligent person knows that representative democracies are as fake as professional wrestling. The human race should get away from phony representative democracies to rule by the people online, but we don't have to do it in one fell swoop. In Canada and the US, we can start with 2 bodies of elected politicians and 1 body of people power democracy, voting by the people on the bills one-on-one online. We can move to total true democracy one step at a time. The people will easily vote to wipe out at least half of the military and security agency budgets. That's a start. The United States does not have universal health care, which means that in the supposed richest country in the world, if a poor person gets a cataract or cancer, he or she will go blind or die because they can't afford the health care, while they got more nuclear weapons than they need to destroy the planet 100 times over, and the security agencies like the CIA, NSA, DIA, and the DHS are having a frivolous, fun time with all that money to protect the people from ghosts. If the people vote for everything issue by issue, they will never vote to fight in a war. We could be peaceful very easily if the people in any country got together and united, then demanded a change in government where they would create at least 1 body of government which would be online voting by the people issue by issue through a website for their country called something like peoplepower.gov or truedemocracy.gov. The next giant step is for the evolution of the human races, that we, the people, take control of ruling ourselves through online creating and voting on the ideas/bills, not having phony representatives who pander to getting votes to get elected then sell their votes to lobbyists in their council. We should focus on ideas, not politicians. By introducing the PPP to your leader and seeing what he or she does with it, you will see if he or she is a power-hungry person out to keep all the power, or does he/she want to help the people, which would mean setting up an online voting agency for the people to vote on the issues. Confront your leader if he or she is willing to set up this online voting agency. Morally speaking, you have the right to fight oppressors if they refuse to give you the right to rule yourselves. Representative democracy is a poor substitute for true democracy, where every individual casts 1 vote on the big issues.